Never seen a smile so big on my little old lady's face until I tell her I'm going fishing all weekend. Pack up all of my baby, I make plans for 7:45, and I swing around, pick up my date for the weekend. Some reason she seems to please when I'm leaving. There's something I'm missing when I'm gone fishing. When I'm gone fishing. When I'm gone fishing.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm sure glad Jim, Lawrence, and Jay can move like that because, yeah, the animation that had to go into me moving like that was something to be desired. But needless to say, it's great seeing all of you. Hope all of you having a great evening, great weekend. It is the eve of Christmas, and in true Christmas tradition, I wish you all. Well, it's a little soon, but needless to say, open. Everybody's going to get some time off. Doesn't look like the weather's going to cooperate unless you're out west and quite a ways up north when it comes to ice fishing. The way things are going, we're going to be getting the boats back out. It's crazy. The weather is a lot different than it was last year, but again, hoping everybody gets a chance to wet a line over the Christmas holidays, or at least thinking about it. And tonight we're going to give you reason to, because we have some last minute gift ideas. And I know the lads have got their list together. We're going to try and keep it as short as we can. We're going to bring all four of us in at the end of the announcements. But before we go any further, I just want to say thanks to all who joined us last week and did the trivia, our trivia night. We're going to be doing that again in the new year. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I know, Jeremy, you had mentioned that you liked it. Steve, nice to see you. Richard Dunlop's in the house. Corey's here, Terry's here, Tony, Luke, nice to see you. I appreciate you guys joining us because this is the last live before Christmas. We will not have a live on Christmas Day because we want you folks to be with your families, where I think it's more important, especially this time of year, spending time with family. I would imagine, Ed, you would agree. Walter, I'm sure you would agree. Nice to see you all the way out in Saskatchewan. Tony's in the house. Mark's here. Oh, fantastic seeing all you lads. Okay. Again, I want to bring you up to date with the Christina fundraiser. There is still time to qualify, as we are going to talk tonight about last-minute gift ideas. A last-minute great gift idea for any angler is to buy into our Christina fundraiser. Currently, right now, I am over the moon to announce that we have managed to put just north of $1,300 aside for all of the funeral expenses, and then whatever's left over, if there is anything left over, we're going to put a trust fund together for young Cassidy, who is Christina's daughter, and unfortunately is, probably having a tough go. Tracy, we're thinking of you as well. Hope all is well up in your land. I know Charles presented you with a very moving gift that certainly had a CFN theme to it. But Chuck, if you're listening, if you're with us, there you are. I see you. It was awesome, dude. Thanks so much for doing that, and hopefully we brightened up Tracy's holiday just a little bit with that commemorative gift. But needless to say, Chuck, you certainly represented all of us when you gave that to Trace. So tip of the hat to you, my friend. And of course, if you have not, there's still time. As I mentioned, a $25 donation. You can make multiple donations. We'll be adding separate names to the wheel as they represent the $25 donation. So you can have multiple spaces on the wheel. It's all up to you folks. But again, donating something to a friend, donating something to an angler that you know of, especially a young angler, there's some really, really great prizes. And the draw is going to be held on Boxing Day. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. And just before I play that video, just to explain, there are two sets of prizes. We have Ontario-based prizes and then out of province. So the reason we did that, of course, because of the Lloyds, the Walters, maybe even the Tonys of the world, who perhaps, let's say, can't come to Ontario to go on a charter, go with a guide. We want to make sure that there's prizes still available for folks out of province. So we have got some incredible donations, and you could win one of these. Have a look. The out of province prizes. Big shout out to Chuck D from Bait and Bite Me for their prize pack. Thanks, Chuck. We also have a mini Stanley Cup signed by the one and only Marcel Dion. Thanks, A-Rod from Mad Cam Plastics for your prize pack. And a big shout out to Shimano for offering up this Noski 2500 reel. Thanks to the Cabby Custom family and Robbie and the girls for putting this great prize pack together. To Ugly Boys Baits and the Downs family, thanks for your offering in this incredible prize pack. Big shout out to Big Jim for all the stuff that he's handed me over the years. We finally put a prize pack together, and we're looking forward to offering that up. So big shout out to Big Jim. James Meager from Meags Lures also has an extensive prize pack. Thanks again, James, for your generosity. And last but not least, we have Chris Yalowicka from Y'all-Eye Fish Lures. If you're a toothy critter, you gotta love your Y'all-Eye lures. Next up are our Ontario-based prizes, which include a day out on the water with Colin Stass and Mike Howard of Twisted Circle Chrome. Thanks, gents, for offering up your time. Really appreciate it. Brian Sturch of Burning Baits Guide Service has also offered up a day of targeting muskie. Captain Tyler Brooks of Slaunch Donkey. He's a multi-species angler, so we're not really sure what you're going to be targeting with Tyler. All I know is you're going to have a lot of fun. To our good friends Adam and Mishi from Fishing Fanatics, again, a great day out on the water with these two. Likely you're going to be targeting walleye, but could also be salmon. To our good buddy Sparkus from Sparkus Fishing Charters, he's offered up a day out on the water, which will likely be on St. Clair, either targeting walleye or smallies. And of course, the Fanatics Outdoor Adventures, who also will be targeting muskie. Thanks again to Jen and Scott for making this donation. And the grand prize, the Big Daddy, is from Camp McIntosh. And a big shout out to Andre and Tracy for their offering of a 2-night stay at Camp McIntosh, targeting smallies, walleyes, muskies, pike, and just about anything else that bites. Either way, you're going to have a great time at Camp McIntosh. Great time indeed at Camp McIntosh. And as I said, a $25 donation e-transferred to that email can enter you or someone you love, someone you know, someone that you know would appreciate a trip to Camp McIntosh or any of the above mentioned prizes. Again, thanks to all who have donated and to all you sponsors who generously donated the prizes. None of this happens without you folks. And CFN Live doesn't happen with these lads who are going to be coming up right after this. And here are the lads. Well,
Hey.
back with popular demand. Lloyd, I have it. I forgot it, but I did set it aside to make sure we have it. Listen, lads, this is the last show we're going to have till Christmas. I know you guys came with your A game, and there's going to be a lot of great gift ideas, last-minute gift ideas for a lot of our CFNers. But to you, Jay and Lawrence, thanks a ton for last week and our trivia. I never got anybody challenging any of our answers, and I was kind of expecting that. Did you guys go back and double check any of those answers?
I was too frustrated. I just wanted to put it all behind me. I'm kidding.
I had a few that I was actually Heather and Stephanie listened in. And Heather, she's pretty knowledgeable with her sport fishing world, I'll say, and she has some questions about it. But we're not going to get into that tonight. So we're on
you know what? To her credit, there were a few that myself I was hoping that you lads would have the answer because I questioned what it was. But yeah, you know what? It's hard to get some of these things by those who are in the know. And I just respect the fact that no one actually reached out and said, Scotty, you guys are full of, because that's not the right answer. But anyway, needless to say, you guys were all good sports. We will make sure that we have a more ironclad trivia night going forward. Jim, it's an honor to have you back, my friend. We missed you last week. There was a few questions we would have loved to have had you here.
Let's go.
Yeah. But as Jay has mentioned, we're not going to get into that. We have we're going to be doing that. So we'll make sure that we test your abilities and your knowledge in the new year. In the meantime, what tonight is all about, and you guys, as I said, I'm talking to you before we went live. Tonight is all about those last-minute Christmas gift ideas that any angler would love to have, has thought of having, didn't realize existed. You folks are going to give the 4-1 round. I don't even know where to start, but Lawrence, I know you have a list of some of the more inexpensive items that people would be interested in. That's always
I started at the cheap end of the lower price end of the scale.
Not cheap.
Inexpensive. Sorry, Jim, I'm slow to learn. Jim's already even screwed on me. But yeah, so I thought that the lowest price item on my list is bait fuel, and it's like $8.50 at Cabela's on sale, and that's not a bad price. Oh, hang on, is it $8.50? No, $12.50. Yeah, I bought it at $8.50 a year ago. But you know what? Get this now, because come the summer, you're not going to be able to find it. So $12.50, yeah, it's gone up a little bit in price. But you can give this to any angler. They'll figure out how to use it, and it works. It really works. It's invented right here in Canada by Bruce Tufts, Dr. Bruce Tufts.
That's awesome. Jim, you want to talk a little bit about that formula as well? I know it's circuit through the Bass Elite program and all.
I'm not hearing you guys.
Oh, can you hear me, Jim?
I can hear you. I didn't hear hardly anything Lawrence said.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, I hear him now.
Okay, what happened there? I wonder what happened.
I don't know. That's interesting. But basically, Lawrence is talking about bait fuel. And Dr. Bruce Tufts, we can't talk enough about it. Great last-minute stocking stuffer. Great idea for Christmas. Give us a little bit more info on why we should buy that, Jim.
Yeah, it's something real. In fact, I've told you, I'm still trying to get Bruce to come on. He's just such a busy guy and talk about it to us. But when he went over some of the stuff, some of the tests that they did with this stuff, it's in labs, and it's like Bruce Tufts is a professional world-class scientist, and it's him doing what he does.
Yeah.
And, I'm a firm believer in science. Like even. Like if you don't agree with science, well, too bad, it's still true. It's what it is. When they do the proper research and it's, reviewed by, all their peers and everything, I'm big on that. And I'll tell you, it's some of the things that he told me. He showed me pictures of the boxes. They've got totes full of tests, like when they like each test that they did. Yeah. And there's just thousands of them. There's just a whole wall, this big shelf he showed me a picture of. And it's all the different tests that they did. And, when you put this stuff in the water and the fish all race over to it and they put it in a liquid form, and it didn't work for them enough. And I don't, there's nothing like that. The fish race over to it in a liquid form, and they're all sort of munching around in the water wondering what the hell they're looking for because they can't see it. And
it doesn't stink. It doesn't stink on your hands. It really has no smell. But the fish have such a perfect sense of smell. They dialed it right into what a fish smells as normal. And what we smell on these scents often is not what they think is normal because it's way too powerful. That's what I'm guessing, anyways. But he really dialed in the smell level, and it falls below our ability to smell pretty much.
All right, Lawrence, keep going, my friend. I know you got more.
Oh yeah, okay. You want me to go again?
Yep.
Okay, Z-Man Chatterbait Elite Enzo. Yeah, this is a little bit pricier, right? It's the blade is connected right to the head, so it's a bit different. But they say as soon as it lands, it starts to vibrate. As soon as it lands in the water, you turn the handle of the reel, it starts to vibrate. So I love baits that respawn instantly like that. I'm a cast chucker kind of thing with chatterbaits. It's just coming in under $20, so it's not a bad. I think that's everyone wants a Z-Man chatterbait, right? And this is the newest one. So it was at ICAST last year, got an award, so you can't go wrong with that. Should I keep rolling?
Go ahead, yeah.
Rapala Glow Charge in those ice fishing season. These are little Rapala Glow Charge boxes. They're always selling out. The Cabela's has got them just for around $1.20. They're marked down a little bit for the small ones, and the small ones for ice fishing is all you need, for your bucks shots and things like that. And everyone's going glow, now more and more everything's glow, and this is just the perfect little tool to have because you got to have the right kind of light source to really get these baits amped up.
And I'll stop you there because you're 100% right, Jay. I mean, let's obviously talk about the obvious choice, our good buddy Enzo, who does some wonderful stuff with Lake Simcoe Power Box. If you are looking for a power source, whether you're out on the ice, in a kayak, by the shore, maybe the power.
Everyone's got this on their list, don't they, Scotty? Is that what we're trying to say?
I would like to think so. At this stage, everybody's got one of these on their list. He keeps pushing the envelope when it comes to these boxes on how you can charge them. What they'll power up, how long they'll last. They truly are something. But we could sit here and talk a whole night about the Lake Simcoe Power Box and of course Enzo and the entire family over there because
I gotta say, what the thing about the Power Box is, I think a lot of us associate those with it's great for ice fishing, and I think a lot of us love it for that. But once you have one of those things, you're using it year round. And I look at what's my time worth to me. For me to build one of those power boxes, to use it for camping, kayak fishing, in the boat, in the ice hut, wherever I'm going to use it, for me to take the time and build one of those, get the components. Lake Simcoe Power Box has everything you need all in one package. You're supporting a great company, a local company, and great service too. So, I think it's a slam dunk, and it's, we don't agree on everything on this show, but I think that's one item we all agree on is like Simcoe Power Box is king, and it's and you're supporting a great company and a great family too. So, yeah, 100%. Big shout out to them.
That's nice.
100%. Lawrence, what do you got next?
Mastiff fluorocarbon. I love using fluoro leaders, and I don't like using regular fluorocarbon line for leader material necessarily. It doesn't have the sort of resistance to scratching, and as soon as your leader gets all scratched up, it's not invisible anymore, right? But the Mastiff has some real good properties. It's knot strength, and it's the ability that the knots don't slip. So I'd get, the 10 and the 20 pound, or the 8 and the 20 pound. Those are sort of my two leader materials. And this stuff, it's a little bit more pricey, but, for leader materials, you can't go wrong. It'll last you a long time. You get a lot of leaders out of a 100-yard spool. So yeah.
What does it look like, Jim, if we're going to go walk into a store? What does a package of Mastiff look like?
Looks like that. And it's actually, that's the ones that came from the Orient in the beginning. And they were 90 meters at 200 yards in a box. It's not really expensive at all because a lot of them are sold 100 meters in a box. There's 200 meters of this in a box. Wow. And that's one of the things about it. But no, I had that on my. It's funny, we got a lot of things like the same here. But I got to fish with this summer, and I was I'm overwhelmed with it. It's I've had so many people call me, leave messages, get me on Facebook or whatever, and tell me, wow, I went and I tried it, and it really is like a dream to use.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know, Mark, it's a great, where do I buy that? I know that it was available in a lot of stores.
Still is.
It
Yeah,
still is, because
it's
I
coming
know
now,
the
yeah.
minute it hit the stores, it was just flying off the shelves.
Whereabouts are you, Mark?
He's up in North Bay.
Yeah, so he'd probably get it. He might have to go over to Sudbury or something. I'm
Yeah,
not sure the
Barnucz
stores
or
up there now, but
yeah,
I don't know
Barnucz
who
or
the,
Tremblay's. Either
yeah,
one. We hope they'd
it
have it.
really is somewhere around there. Well, Ramaco's got it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Jay, let's run over to you. I know you've got a few ideas.
Yeah, I got a few things. One bait or one line I want to talk about is Fireline Crystal from Berkeley. So what I love about Fireline Crystal is I use it year round. So, and I like the white. I like it because I like the visibility of it. And it has some great characteristics. It actually repels ice really well.
Yeah.
So I use it on my center pin reel. I use it on my ice fishing gear. And I also use it year round on my spinning rods for bass and for walleye and just about everything that swims. So Fireline Crystal is a braided line. There's a lot of great braids out there. I do use other Berkeley braids, like their X5 is a great one. But I love especially for the colder months, that crystal just repels water a little bit better. And for ice fishing, like you'll hear me talk a lot about using tiny baits. And for those, I use a lot of mono and fluorocarbon. But when you're fishing larger baits, deeper water, using a super line, a braided line is best. And I love my Fireline Crystal for that. So Fireline Crystal is a great investment. You can use it just about year round.
That's awesome. I have to ask the group this, and I got to pose the question to you, Jim, because as I said,
Sure.
this is something when it comes to ice safety. I'm seeing a lot more of these gadgets become available. I don't know about mainstream, but they're certainly becoming more available. These handheld units, they sometimes are just fish finders. Sometimes they'll be able to tell you the thickness of the ice, but these handheld units, if I know they're a more expensive way to arm yourself with something that can identify fish and something that can tell you water temperatures. I mean, there's a whole gamut of stuff that it can do. Do you put a lot of faith in something like this, Jim? Or
I haven't used them. I know several years ago, like probably 6-8 years ago, there was a few of them out around.
Yeah.
And just the fact that they sort of dwindled away, I don't know, guys just maybe didn't get into using them. Maybe they already have other electronics,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it would make it a little bit harder. But I do know guys that have them and they use them. They don't use them a lot, but they do use them. And I guess it's like anything else. If you get it, you learn how to use it. It's a good tool, It
makes sense.
Something that can identify stuff. So that's good.
I thought of you, Jay. Of course, obviously you have a unit that is definitely a step or 6 up. But for someone who runs and guns and maybe doesn't have a lot of money to spend, would you?
So I'll be honest. That unit you have there, we use those at work quite a bit, and that year round. So if I'm out, we're setting a trap net, and we might be using. We might be in a lake, Scotty, where I don't have a big boat. I don't have a GPS unit set up. I want to know the water depth. I can do a quick shot with that. They're rugged, they're waterproof. So we use them at work quite a bit to measure water depth on the fly, because anything over a meter stick or a yardstick, right? Yeah. We have to figure out a way. We don't use a rope and measure the rope. Like, we want to do something quick. But I'll give everyone a tip, and I'll bring it up as one of my favorites tonight. I'm going to bring up my flasher unit. Like, these FLX units from Vexilar. This is the 28. They make an FLX 20 and an FLX 12. But I'm going to tell you right now, the FLX line is their new LED line. So it's quieter, it lasts longer, it's brighter display. And why I'm bringing that up in this discussion, Scotty, is when you only have a few inches of ice, if I put that transducer on top of the ice and I make it wet and I turn up the gain on here, I can read through that ice easily. So the thing about flashers, what I love about flashers is there's great units out there. I don't have any ties to Vexilar, other than I've been using them for, well, I always say I bought my first one the year before Trevor was born. So I got 16 years on a flasher. And I'll tell you right now, they are the best unit to use only because they are plug and play. You walk out, and now that they have auto range on these now, So you walk out and it's even less to figure out. There's a little bit of interpretation involved, but they last so long. I will get multiple days on a charge, and they're just easy to use. And for running and gunning for fish, and I think there are some great units out there. You can get a, you can talk about forward-facing sonar 360, and they all serve a purpose. They're all great. But if you actually talk to a lot of the diehard ice anglers in the ice belt, they're using a combination of forward-facing sonar and a flasher. They're locating the fish with the unit, with the forward-facing sonar or 360, and then they're going after them with the flasher. And because the flasher is quick and it's easy to use. So, and you don't have to update them, okay? Like, you don't have to do software updates. So that I have an FL 20 unit over there that's 15 years old, and it runs as well as the day I got it. No problem. Like,
but then you still need the GPS map if you want to mark waypoints, right? If you want to use your topo maps.
And I just use my phone for that, right?
Yeah.
I have Navionics on my phone, and off I go. Or you can use a handheld unit. So if you're going to buy one and you're going to want to use it year round, definitely a GPS sonar combo is a great unit to have. And there's some great units out there. Helix, the Helix 7s from Humminbird, the Garmin 5s are a great, inexpensive, well-made unit. But I love the flasher because Ed says it's real time. It is just a great unit. There's not much of a learning curve with it, and it lasts. And they are durable units. They're just a good investment to me.
Jay, I'll get you to answer this question from Mark because I know you've answered it before. When it comes to, is it better for a standalone flasher as opposed to one that has one built in as an option? Obviously, price point is the key.
So even with the ones with a built-in flasher unit, they all have a delay. Those ones, the liquid crystal displays, even the ones with the flasher, they have a delay. Now, the liquid crystal units, you can see history on them a bit better, right? So a fish comes through your cone, if it comes through and leaves, you'll see it after it's gone. Whereas a flasher, it's in and it's gone again. Okay, so you sort of have to keep your eye on the flasher a little bit more. But it's real time. And once you dial in the bait and once you dial in your settings, you can really see exactly what's happening. And in fact, when you use it enough, the actual tone of the humming will change when the fish is about to strike your bait. I'm not even joking. Like, you can actually hear the flasher adjust as that fish comes in the cone, as that signal gets stronger, basically the tone of the flasher changes, and it's actually an audio cue for me, and I get set up to set the hook. I'm not even joking. It's pretty cool when you get used to it. Jim's nodding his head. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, and speaking of the Garmin Live Scope, I just mentioned here, Garmin Live Scope with the ice fishing bundle, regular it's $3,650, $2,700 at Radio World. So if you want to get the other end of the extreme Christmas gift, there you go.
Jeez, that is a good deal.
Yeah.
Jim, I thought of you when I saw this, and I don't mean any disrespect, but it just, in terms of anybody that's, say, struggling with mobility, balance, or anything else, these are becoming more popular when it comes to the ATV community. This thing here, sorry, let me turn down the music. This is quite something. So this sits on the back of an ATV. I think we've talked about this before, about these units. This is the Silverback unit. It's available in the States. I don't have the link, and I know Steve's probably given up at this point trying to keep up with all the links. But this is pretty cool. And Lawrence, obviously you can't see what we're seeing.
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear you describe this.
It's basically a stainless steel, cast aluminum, whatever you want to call it, shell that lowers and raises up into the ATV. So literally you drive to wherever it is that Jay has taken us with his GPS and marked points. You basically have this thing over top of whatever structure it is you're looking for. You drill yourself a hole. It lowers down, so it makes a complete seal with the snow. You can put a bubble heater inside. You can do a whole host of things. But it's interesting because it is so compact. It has the ability to mount, your auger, all your rods, all your accessories. The only thing I don't like about it, and Jim, I'm going to have, this is an awful lot of weight in one area.
Well, yeah, I don't even know if it's that heavy. I'll stick to pulling a fish trap around. Even if you're pulling it behind a four-wheeler, you can set up a fish trap faster than that. You know that.
Yes, true enough.
Your stuff is in it. You sit down, you flip the lid over, you're fishing. You know what I mean?
True enough.
It's one of those things. That's really cool. I've heard about them. I had not actually seen one like that, how it worked. I'll have to look it up and take a little longer look at it. Yeah.
There's
What's
a
the
few
price on something like that?
Otter's got one. I want to say Clam has got one as well, but they're becoming more popular, especially these custom kits that folks are fabricating or having others fabricate that do sheet metal or aluminum, stainless steel welding. They can put these things together. They have lift kits, as we just saw. So there's a lot of variety there, and certainly gives an option to all hardwater anglers. But I'll tell you, at this stage right now, as a hardwater angler, we're just hoping for some ice. I want to also mention, because before we get to the video, because there's some really cool stuff, something as simple as the ability to reel line onto your reel, especially with the off season going on and maybe some downtime because we don't have any hard water. These units are extremely popular. I don't know which one is better than the other. This is the Piscafun, and it seems like a straightforward unit, something very, very compact. You can put your spool on. It spins as you reel it onto your closed-faced or open-face reels. It's got a lot of advantages. Do you see an advantage in something like that, Jim, or have you got something that you put together?
Hey, I don't know, to be honest, Scotty, when I spool reels, most of the reels I spool, I'm sitting right here.
Yeah.
And this drawer opens, and I always have a cloth nearby.
Yeah.
I sit the spool I wrap the spool in a cloth, put it in the drawer, close the drawer up till it's open about an inch. It catches the top of the spool. That's where all my line's done. I've never had I hate to use the word gimmick, but I've never had a tool like that for putting line on. I've never subscribed to anything like that. I knew which way it was supposed to spin. You know what I mean? It's that kind of a thing. With bait casting reel is pretty simple because it's straight on, but I've never owned anything like that or had anything like that.
So Sonia, Luke, you have taken my secret. You can't beat a pair of Crocs and a pen. It works like a charm. So you just saved yourself $30-$40 not buying that, and you already own a pair of Crocs, and pens are dime a dozen. Speaking of a dime a dozen, when it comes to the amount of tackle, Jay, I don't know if you've ever bought into like Mystery Tackle Box, but there's one here in Canada called Simple Fishing. They have elite models. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. It comes every month. Obviously, there's a subscription. You see value in this?
Oh yeah, I love those actually. So, everyone knows from the show, a good friend of mine is Brendan Nags from Perfect Jig, and I think he's a good friend of the show. Period. So Nags used to have a Jig of the Month club, and I think he's still doing it. And the last 2 years, and I just didn't do it this year because I just have a lot of his jigs and I'll keep using them. But his Jig of the Month club was great, Scotty. Like you got a jig each month. So these subscription companies are fantastic. If you have an angler in the house, we're actually having a lot of fun right now. Heather found an advent calendar. Now these are kind of like overseas knockoff lures. We're having a lot of fun with Trevor's advent calendar. And because I'm going to make everyone at the cottage next year catch fish on the lures they're making fun of. We're going to have a competition. But these subscription ones are great for all anglers. All joking aside, these are fantastic. And I don't think there's one you can go wrong with. And the Simple Fishing one is hands down support Canadian small business. I think it's a great investment for any angler.
100%. Couldn't agree more. I will say this too. Jeremy came up with the idea. Steve, thanks so much for all these links that you're putting up. I know we're making you work overtime. Jeremy had come up with I know it's not a brand new idea, but perhaps putting an advent calendar together with all of the CFN sponsors with the various lures, Jim's, Nags, Perfect Jig, you name it. I think it's a great idea, but it's an awful lot of work to put together. So we'll hold off on that. But Jeremy, yeah, it is a great idea. Lawrence, I know you probably got a few more that you wanted to mention, so we'll go to you.
Yeah, there's one here. This one, an ICAST award as well. I always like going to that ICAST every year just to see who, the innovations that get presented for that competition. And then they have, they have it now. They actually, anglers have a chance to vote as well as the media. And so here's something, and it's not Shimano, so don't rip my head off, Jim. It's a Pro Fish Next Gen Crozzy Combo. Pro Fish Next Gen Crozzy Combo. So this is a kid's fishing outfit. It's 5'6" medium action spinning rod. And this is going to be something kids are going to go, wow, cool, right? Like that's the thing when it's small enough, it's short enough that an 6, 8, 10-year-old can handle easily. 5'6" rod. It's not it's not a giant rod, and it's a medium action, so it's not a super whippy rod, and it's going to have some curb appeal, and that means a lot. But it isn't cheap. Like it's just under $150. So that's an expensive gift for a kid, but someone who's gone through, the daisy and the little tiny, push button combos that you get a kid, they start off with and they graduate up to the next thing maybe, and I don't think it's a piece of junk. It wouldn't have gone on the Word of the iCast if it was a piece of junk.
No, 100%. No, great idea. Do you have any more, Lawrence, before we move on?
Just one more thing.
Ready?
Yeah.
What's
I
that?
got a rucksack.
I got mine already here.
Yeah, go for it, Jim. Go, buddy.
Yeah, no, just a little pure fishing. What is it? The frozen stuff.
Yeah.
Kids love that stuff.
Kids love that stuff, man.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of these. I did a little barter deal, and I got a whole bunch of, but I'm keeping them for the kids pond at the sportsman show this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Tammy just came in there. I was texting her. You were talking about advent calendars.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I got one.
That's the same one Trevor's got, dude. That's the exact same one, I swear.
I'll trade you a shrimp for a bar out
There. Listen, he was making fun of the shrimp. You got to show the shrimp. Show the shrimp, Jim, if you can.
The shrimp? Okay, I think
shrimp,
shrimp
because
was today, wasn't it?
He was making fun of the shrimp. I said, I'm going to make you catch a fish on that next summer, Trevor. I'm going to make you do that.
I gotta get something to poke them open with here because
it's pretty cool. So we've been keeping all the lures in a little bag or a little box. I think Heather's keeping them all. And we're gonna next time we're at the cottage, we're gonna take a day, Scotty. You're gonna have to reach in and grab a random lure and go catch a fish on it. I don't care if it's a rock bass or a sunfish or you gotta show the close up on Jim there. There's
my little shrimp.
There's the shrimp. But
sure.
There's some nice little jigging spoons in there. Like there's some little spoons that are going to be some good ice fishing lures in there. I'm telling you. Like,
and who makes it? Who makes this advent calendar?
Honestly, I think it's an Amazon thing, dude. I don't think it's.
Well, good on Amazon because it's a brilliant idea. Brilliant.
It is. Like these are just dollar store lures, and I wish. What's great about the advent calendar and the way they've done it with fishing tackle is it combines fishing and Christmas, right? Like that's what I love about it, and if somebody in Ontario or Canada made an advent calendar that was, I'm not saying like it doesn't have to be as Lawrence would say cheap, but it just has to be inexpensive. So because Jim hit it exactly, that frozen combo, those little combos, those sell like hotcakes. Yeah, nice. Yeah, exactly.
Crappy next spring.
Yeah.
And I've got 100 of these.
That's awesome.
I got 101 now.
If you could buy something inexpensive for someone to use, like we all have expensive tastes, let's admit it, okay? But fishing doesn't have to be like that. So a little cheap advent calendar with a bunch of cheap lures, inexpensive lures and a bunch of an inexpensive combo. Once they're hooked, pun intended, that's it. That's all you need, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Really, really that's simple great. Things. It doesn't have to be much. It's
yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like adults like things like that too. They're
yeah.
Like you saw me, I got all animated and excited. I got
honestly, Trevor opens his every day, and it's like we all want to know what the next one is right now. That's what we're doing every night at supper. What was your lure today? And we have like a seminar with it at supper right now. I'm not even joking.
Well, I set the alarm clock for 12:01 so I can get up and open it for the day.
Come on.
Well, you can't steal the chocolate the day before, man. That's where Krampus will come give you cold.
That's why I had to wait. That's why I said 12:01.
Good man. Good man, Jim.
I took the X-Acto knife. I didn't like the idea of pushing in those little push it into a square like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So I cut all the little corrugated pieces, so could just pop them up easy. They're all ready.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Trevor's just bear pawing it, ripping it open. That's what he's still in the kid mode, right?
He'll learn.
Ready for the trip to the hospital. You'll have to figure it out.
Oh yeah.
Or have me taking them out with the vice grips.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no problem. We don't do hospital visits here. We do our own hook removals around this house.
Yeah.
They've seen it. They've seen the braid and the pop. They know they're not going to the hospital. They know dad's, so they're extra careful because they know dad's not taking it to the hospital. They know dad's doing it in the kitchen.
First time I ever did that to someone else.
Yeah.
It's a person. I'm not going to mention names.
Yeah.
It's a person. They're not here tonight, but it's a person that we would all know.
All right.
When I did it, their eyes actually rolled. I thought they
yeah.
were going to pass out.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And they're a person that if I was out in the bar and I was a young lad having a few drinks and push came to shove,
Yeah.
I want them right beside me.
Wow. Okay. Well,
But they
listen.
were shocked how easy it just, and it's out, eh?
Yeah.
Know how to do that. Like last year or 2 years ago, Trevor had a fishing lure, a rod and reel in his grandparents' Ford Escape. And Papa was taking the rod out and he got a topwater treble right in the thumb, like right in. So everyone's panicking. I said, bring him over. And on the back of on the hood of the car, I said, Art, just put your hand down here. I had to go get some bolt cutters from the garage. And Jim, I only had like my big lock cutters at the time, right? So I'm like, he was more scared of me losing his finger on the big bolt cutters, but I wanted to cut the hook first and then take it out. I want to get the lure away, right? So I cut the hook first, braid, and I did it. I did ready, Art, on 3, 1, and then on 2 I pulled. I always pull on 2, never pull on 3. And then it came out, and everyone was like, "Where is it?" I'm like, "It's not."
So simple. It's such little pressure. It just pops. It
Yeah.
just comes out, eh? Yep.
It's interesting because I'm sure Brad's watching from POW Casting. I did the exact same thing to him at the CFN or the OFC Nation retreat up at Camp McIntosh. You did that. He says you don't have to count, and just before you even got out the sentence,
Yeah,
you yank it out.
that's right.
You know what? This is becoming the Christmas nightmare. Laura, dial us back in with some gift ideas.
Yeah, I got one here.
Go ahead.
So the rucksack, it's $350. So this is my second highest gift. But if you really want to, treat yourself, this thing is the ultimate sort of a fold-up carry-all, and it comes with 2 sort of smaller carry-alls that fit into the main carry-all. There's 70 liters. It's Ruxall, and people love these things. They're guaranteed for life. They're tough. They fold up when you don't need them. You can store them in your closet when you don't need them, and all season long. You can fit gear, and you got a couple small dividers. And you can just throw it in the back of the truck. You got all your gear in there, all your ice fishing gear, all your kayak fishing gear, one joint sort of container in the back of your truck. It's not all jumping around. I think it's something if you really want to keep organized and keep your stuff in one spot and not have it flying around. This is the tool.
Cool.
Interesting. Well, it's a great idea. Lots of fantastic ideas. Now, gents, I did download we're going to go to a link that's on YouTube, and I want to thank this gentleman, Alex Tim, from Fishing Gear and Tech News podcast. He's fairly new. He's breaking out. I love his podcast. He's got some great stuff. So I'll tell you what, let's get right to it. I think I turned the sound off, but that's Alex there down in the bottom left-hand corner. What he's doing here is he's explaining what is this boat. It is a sneak boat. And it's a very, very small design. It certainly begs the question that if we're going this size,
but here's
boat,
the sneak boat in black. I'll blow it up so that you can see it.
I'll shut it up. But this thing retails just under $2,000. It has a battery mount. It looks like an accessory panel, a trolling motor on the back, a chair. It's made out of hardened foam. He's pointed out some areas where you can put some rod holders and what have you, but it looks pretty cool for some backwater stuff, or if you've got a pond that you can't or don't want to carry a canoe down or a kayak. Jay, when I look at this, are we now getting too small? Like, is this becoming too much of a portable type approach?
Yeah, that's a little too small. I'm going to say only because a little bit of length in those vessels helps with stability. And so that's a sit on. So right away, I'm looking at that. That's a sit on top seat. And right away, your center of gravity is pretty high. So the way that a lot of these kayaks make up for that, Scotty, is they make them a little bit longer and wider. They can't make them too wide, though. So they make them longer to help spread that out a bit. That's why if you're top heavy like me, but you put someone in that, like, I don't know, that doesn't sit well with me. Pun intended. That doesn't sit well with me at all. That thing. So I wouldn't recommend that at all. I'd go for a good fishing kayak like a Doss King over that any day of the week, man.
I have to agree. Yeah, as I said, it's kind of a neat thing if you're, maybe Trevor's size or smaller, or perhaps a Tennessee. To me, this is a Cadillac for Tennessee.
I'd have to wear a scuba tank with that because I'd get in it and it would just go to the bottom.
Yeah,
and I'd be moving along the bottom with it.
I couldn't agree more, Jim and Lawrence. If you can't see this, basically take a cushion off your couch and sit on it. That's what this is.
Oh,
but before you do, make sure you cough up $2,100.
Yeah.
US.
Yeah.
But I have one of those little inflatable sort of floating seats that the fly anglers use, with you put on the waders and the little fins on your feet, and you go backwards everywhere. Yeah. It's just like you're sitting in a horseshoe on a seat. And that's
in the water. This thing, you're sitting on a seat, Lawrence, up in the air.
Yeah, you're above the water. Yeah, and there's an advantage. You don't have to.
Yeah. Let's go with the Doss King. Let's stay with the Doss King. I totally agree. But
did you guys see that new little Mercury boat that came out last year with the electric Mercury motor? They brought it out at the Toronto International Boat Show.
Clear.
And it was maybe, I think it was 8 feet long and about 4.5 feet wide, and had a little proprietary electric outboard motor on it. It was just a tiny little raft boat. It was cute.
It is. And what I look for, which didn't have it on that boat, was the capacity. There's no way that boat could hold myself, and I'll speak for myself only because I want to be respectful.
You with my fish.
Yeah.
Well, so I'll comment. Let me comment on Lawrence's comment about the Mercury boat. So the one they've been pushing, so their electric motor, the one that they've been kind of promoting is, if you're a sailing person, you're going to have a little raft with electric motor to get out to your yacht, your sailboat, what have you, right? They really haven't pushed. What I'm waiting for Mercury to do is to start competing with these kayak motors that are coming out. So Torqeedo, I'd say Torqeedo, and I'm not an expert on electric motors, but I'd say Torqeedo has really cornered the market on electric motors. In terms
I have one.
And they have them both as a tiller and in a kayak version where you actually have it on the steering cables. So I'm curious who's going to start to kind of one up them. And I think Mercury's positioned to do that. I really do. So I'm kind of waiting to see which of the big ones of the big motor companies will get into the small electric motor business. I'm curious about that. We'll see.
So as the sales get big enough to make it worth their while?
Yeah.
The battery costs, when you're talking $1,000 a battery and you need to get 2 of them, that's it gets up there. And Mercury's gone in the other direction. They had it set up with their electric motor, and now they're advertising it without the electric motor. You can put any motor on it. You can put any of their gas motors on it, right? They're small gas engines. So they've gone in the other direction. I think they're just trying to sell them now. And they realize, like, with a lot of EV companies that came out with higher price electric vehicle kind of stuff, people aren't buying it so much. Like the EV snowmobiles, EV ATVs, EV.
Yeah, that was just on the news tonight about how it's just plummeted.
Yeah, it's not. They're sitting in the stores. Like Ford's, cutting back on the production of their Lightning Ford 150s. It's expensive stuff, and people say, well, you know what? It doesn't really do what I need it to do, so I'm not paying that extra price to get that electric thing when it's not going to do what I need it to do anyway.
And I think money's harder to come by right now, guys. Like looking, the 30,000 foot view. There, a lot of these cutbacks are coming from it. It's the supply and demand issue is exactly what Lawrence is saying, but it's even bigger than that. Like, I think there's just, with interest rates and stuff, people just don't want to buy those toys. right now.
Inventory's piling up. Inventory's
gotta cut
piling up
back.
in snowmobiles, ATVs, boats. There's, inventory's piling up in the stores.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some hot deals this spring at the boat shows.
I agree.
There's going to be some really good deals.
I agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I don't know if it's a good deal, but this is an interesting garment. It is a buff. Lawrence, if you can't see this.
Oh, I got them. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a heated and
Oh.
it cools. So you have cool packs. Obviously, you put in a fridge or a freezer so it keeps you cool during the summer, but it also heats up and keeps you warm during the winter months. I think it's an intriguing idea. It is battery powered. It seems very compact, the battery itself. But yeah, is a buff something you fish with, lads? Do you fish with a buff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot. I use them a lot. Like Scotty, I use them at work and at play, like all the time. The one I don't always use a full buff, but I love the Columbia. I love Columbia, just Columbia wear in general. I find that their stuff is well made. It lasts. And dude, it fits the husky gentleman, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, they make they do like the big and tall sizes. Okay, so I can
Were you looking at me and Scotty when you said that?
Might be Jim.
I can take it, Jim. It's all good.
But honestly, like, so I wear the sun shirts with the hood. Okay, I got the hood up, and then I wear the wide brimmed hat, and I don't always wear a buff because I find it really. It's constricting. If I found a buff that fit me better, like I'm a big guy, so I find it kind of smothers me a little bit. But I love all the sun shirts, and I used to be a short sleeve shirt guy until about 3 or 4 years ago, and a bunch of my friends started getting skin cancer issues. And like I'm a high risk. I work outdoors all the time, so I've gone to wearing sun shirts, and I still wear sunscreen on my face and my hands. I don't wear the sun gloves because they just get nasty with me. With whether I'm working or fishing, I catch a lot of fish, boys, so they get real smelly. Okay, so but I definitely wear the sun clothes, and I find it makes a hell of a difference. And honestly, I feel better at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's a little to get used to at first in the heat, but once you get used to wearing that stuff, you feel a lot better at the end of the day. You really do.
I could believe it. And yeah, to your point earlier, Jim, when we were talking about sunscreen, are people still using sunscreen? Do they understand the importance of putting sunscreen on?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, incidents of skin cancer aren't going down. I don't think any cancer is going down right now. So it is definitely something.
We're all getting older, man. The whole population's aging.
Well, that's another thing too.
More popular.
Yeah.
100%.
So on that note, though, Scotty, I'm going to bring this up because I get a chance to. I know we talk about this a lot, but so I'm going to do a 2-for-1 here. This is my hydrostatic Mustang PFD. If I'm in the boat, this is what I'm wearing all the time. It's the one with the pressure sensor. So people often ask me which one should I get. They have the pull tab. Okay. You can have the automatic, which is like a little Alka-Seltzer tablet that when it dissolves, the pin fires. This one's hydrostatic. This is the more expensive one. But honestly, this is the one that I think people should have. Take care of it. It'll last you for years. Just check your cartridge to make sure it's still good. And just don't keep it in the boat. Don't let it get wet. At the end of the day, bring it in the garage. Don't leave it in your boat compartments because I know they're waterproof, but they still let moisture in.
Do you use that one for kayaking or for in your boat?
So I'll use it honestly, Lawrence. I kind of go between. I'll show my kayaking one, but I use this in a kayak sometimes. But I'll show you the kayak one I prefer. So on hot days, I will admit the inflatables are nice, but in the kayaks, this is my favorite one. This is a Chinook from NRS, and why I like this one, it's all the pockets. This is old school fishing, guys. Like we're talking a vest, so I can keep my tools. So in a kayak tournament, you have to have your phone handy. You want your pliers handy. So when you hook a fish, you bring it in the boat. I need to have, and I've actually taught Trevor how to have like a procedure, like land the fish. You want to get that fish photographed and released right away. And what I love about a PFD is that it's always on you. It will never misfire. Like if you don't take care of your inflatables, these will always work. Okay. And what's nice about these ones too, and you may not realize this on kayak ones. See the high back there? So that's the back there. There's a mesh bottom. So actually with the mesh and the mesh sides, it's actually fairly cool to wear And this pad sits at the top of your seat, so you're not all crouched over all day. So they make them in different colors. They make them in, I like the high vis, like orange or red. So these are great investments. Is those, and that's an NRS PFD. I'll throw a link in the chat. Those are my favorite kayaking vests. No affiliation, just a good product.
Salis Marine is a Canadian company. They make a nice kayak vest as well.
They do.
Yeah, and they make an inflatable. But I learned, someone told me a long time ago, for kayaking, don't get the self-inflators. Get the one with the ripcord, because I fall out of kayaks, and people fall out of kayaks. And if you fall out with your, just getting in or just getting out, you fall out, you fall over, and your life jacket goes off. That's it. You're done for the day, because you can't fish in an inflated self-inflated life jacket.
That's honestly how I feel, Lawrence, is the same way. I feel that as much as the inflatables are comfortable to wear, I kind of cringe at people wearing them in kayaks all the time, because in kayaking, you're guaranteed you're going to get wet eventually. It's almost a certainty, right? And you have to prepare for it. So now you got to change out the cartridge, and I don't know, if I deflip the kayak and I get wet, I can get right back in again. So
a point was made in the comments. I forget who it was, maybe Jeremy or maybe Sonia, in regards to wearing one of these in the wintertime. Does anything freeze? Does anything pop because of the cold weather? Is it not something you would advise wearing, or do they have temperature?
I think you would follow the rules of the New York Department of Environmental Conservation. After December 1st, you got to wear a flotation suit. I wouldn't. They will work in the winter, but I do believe if you're going to go in that cold of water, so anything close to freezing, anything below 10 degrees Celsius, I'm not even joking, that's the magic number, you should wear a survival suit of some kind, anything below 10 degrees. So whether that be a Mustang one-piece suit, a two-piece suit, even some of the new ice fishing suits. I'm going to give a shout out to Striker. Who else is making them now?
Well, Mustang obviously.
Stan makes a good one. Like these are comfortable suits. My Striker Predator, it's warm. It has flotation. It's not a Coast Guard certified one, so I can't wear it like in a boat. But man, they are nice to wear, those suits. I love that suit a lot, and I think that is probably one of the best. They're not cheap. Strike Master, Steven's in there making a comment. Strike Master is a good one. I haven't found a bad one. Just find one that fits you best, and because you're making an investment, it's going to cost. They're not cheap, they're not inexpensive, right? But I'll tell you that they are an investment that everyone should make. And if you are a cold weather angler, especially an ice angler, consider buying one, and they'll last you for years. I promise. Mine is well built. I beat the hell out of it all the time. I got 2 seasons in it, and it looks like the day I bought it, and I've probably worn it 100 days. Honestly,
awesome.
Great investment.
So they make a snowmobile suits now, the one-piece snowmobile suits that are flotation. So I mean, the flotation thing isn't strange anymore. It's becoming the norm.
There's a company, FXR. FXR is a Canadian company, and they make snowmobile suits with flotation, and they actually make ice fishing suits as well. They've kind of crossed over. But I think if you invested in the FXR suits as well, even a snowmobile suit, those are all great to have. I agree, Lawrence, for sure.
100%. For those who are like the rest of us and like producing content, this was an interesting find. What this is, these are polarized glasses. Now it doesn't stop there. I know Ray-Ban has one that has a camera in it. This, believe it or not, it is quite something, because it has the ability for you to use your phone. So you just wear your glasses as if you would wear a pair of sunglasses. But then it has Bluetooth that runs out of your phone. So you can have that noise canceling technology. And I'm not sure where this plugs in, because when he puts it on a mannequin, it doesn't show anything going into the ears. So I'm not sure how the noise canceling works. Yeah. But needless to say, it will take a video. It does great audio, and has the ability, you can click it on, you can click it off. So, you're not having to pull your phone out necessarily to answer it. You can literally just click a button on the side of your glasses. And as I mentioned, they're polarized. For $170, is it worth taking a stab, I might. It's the kind of technology that I enjoy. That hands-free stuff is becoming the way of the future. But when it comes
I don't know, man. I'm such a sunglass snob. Like I love my Costas. I love my Costas. I've been using them for years. I've worn Oakleys, I've worn Ray-Bans, I've worn Maui Jims. The Costa, the glass lens is just something I won't give up. But I do love listening to podcasts and music when I'm out fishing. So if you go by me in the summer, if I'm in the boat or the kayak, you're going to hear something. You're going to hear voices talking. It's not me. I usually have a podcast playing in my pocket.
In your head?
Maybe. So I'm actually going to play around with finding some sort of waterproof or at least water resistant earbuds this year. So I don't have to keep, so it's a little more practical. I think that those sunglasses are a great idea, but I wouldn't give up my Costas. That's my problem. So
well, I have to agree. I do have to agree, Jay, because there's something to be said when you're spending that kind of money. You want the money to go into the lens. This was another interesting find that I saw. Talk about bobber technology. I never thought we would have to do anything with bobbers, but this is an easy on bobber. So if you're taking a kid fishing, basically it pinches in such a way that it creates this cavern, and then it seals itself once you let go. It's interesting for kids. No more struggling with the push button and trying to get it all the way down in order to hook it through that hook. This is easy for parents, but as I said, interesting technology. I never thought we would have to push the technology on a bobber, but this at least is in the right direction, and it's kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Did you see those new floats that Clam came out with? They have two lights, so when it's floating and you don't have a bite, it's green, and when you get a bite, it goes red. That's
interesting. Interesting stuff. The next item, as soon as this commercial's done, we'll flick it. This is what I've been waiting for. Tackle that is driven by technology. This is really interesting. I don't know, Jim, if you've seen this or some of the folks that you speak to have talked about this. It might be a gimmick, but apparently the way these jigs are designed, they are sonar reflective, and they are especially made for forward-facing sonar. And the reason is they give off more of an echo. There's more of an image. Traditional tackle doesn't give off the image that this does. Varying degrees of ideas and uses, presentations, what have you, with these jigs. Jim, I got to get your take on this.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something that'll work. I know Lindy and Northland did things years ago that made them, they were a lot more flasher friendly. So they had a flat surface on the top of the jig head, so there was more room for the sonar to bounce back off. And this, I can see this for the forward facing too, having the space for it to catch on out front. But it's like everything else. There's technology and gimmicks, and they get like this close together sometimes.
Yeah.
And so often they're like that. Like when you just talked about the sunglasses there, it's all about the optical correctness of the lens and glass. And that's why Costa's always ranked number one.
100%.
It's what it is, So, but no, that's really, really cool. I can see that type of stuff catching on.
I think
if it does what it says it does.
If it does what it says it does, I'm with you, Jim. I think this is just the beginning.
You'll see people use it. Yep.
So
I
put a couple quick links in the chat, Scotty. I put Euro Tackle ESR they come at what's called Euro Tackle ESR, and they came up with a tungsten jig that's an ice fishing jig that it's designed to enhance sonar. Basically, what you want a bait that has flatter surface to get good bounce back on it.
Right.
I also put in a link to Berkeley came out called the Berkeley Switch, and it just looks like it looks like a tadpole. It has a big head on it with a slender tail. And when you read about how they calibrate sonar, doesn't matter whether it's forward facing or old school flashers, they're using, usually these sort of objects with a good surface area, typically really round and large, but by making it smaller with more straighter sides, you can get a good signal off it. It's pretty cool. The technology is coming out with baits, and we're getting baits now that are lining up with sonar technology. Isn't that something?
That's and I was waiting for that because this forward facing is definitely not going anywhere, and it was interesting to see if they were going to now gear tackle towards the use of this, and obviously the answer is yes. Does it catch more fish, Jeremy? I'm hoping that you folks will be able to tell us. This last thing I wanted to share with you, this is something that I'm stunned that it's taken this long to come out with. But what this does is it plugs into basically your drain hole in your cooler. It's a Bluetooth instrument. You can connect it to your phone, and what it allows you to do is to figure out the temperature inside your cooler. So if you don't know you need to add ice, perhaps you're wanting to keep something for a couple nights before you light up the barbecue or you get to wherever it is you're going, you can have peace of mind knowing that this can be unscrewed, unplugged, so you can relieve all the water, but it'll also give you an accurate temperature of what's going on inside your cooler. So not sure what it costs, but when I saw it, I'm thinking, yeah, that is a really cool gadget that I think all of us would enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I have gone through
as long as the battery lasts longer than the ice,
It's supposed to last 16 hours. It's very similar to that of a bud, but it's only one bud. It has two separate batteries in it, so apparently it's supposed to last 16 hours. And in my opinion, you buy two if that's the case.
Yeah.
Lads, I've gone through my entire list. If anybody else has any other ideas, by all means, put them in the comments. Is there anything we didn't share that was on your list, Jim?
I got so many people have contacted me, and that's what I recommended that they get for people that wanted stuff. That or a Curado 200M, the one that won at ICAST and this one the year before. There's, the stuff's out there. You just got to go and get it. And, I've often told people, you have a real serious fisherman in the crowd, maybe not a tournament type guy, but just a serious guy, get him a gift certificate. Or her a gift certificate, because that way they get exactly what they want. Like we have a rule in the family that they don't buy Big Jim fish and stuff. You know what I mean? Because they come home with stuff that they come home with the 12 pack of the plastic pink shrimps. It's just one of those things. I remember when the kids were younger, they'd buy me things, and we go down to Mississippi Lake, and I purposely put them on and catch a bunch of fish with them, just so you can show them, but then the hook would pull off or the lure, you'd come back with the eye out of the lure or something, because a lot of it's, like just less expensive stuff, right? So,
100%.
Or in that case, you could use the word cheap, Lawrence.
Jay, anything on your wish list that we didn't get to?
Well, we always got to talk about supporting local, right? And I think that, especially since COVID, like it's amazing how, so even, where I live, I'm an hour, like the closest store to me is 45 minutes, which is larger stores is Jocelyn's. There's Erie Creek and Tackle and Tilsonburg, but all of them, all the stores now pretty much have online shopping, so you can find what you want. I like to spread it around a bit. Like I love to support natural sports, angling sports, fishing world, and now this is a exclusive. Okay, I'm not sure who's listening, but courtesy of Gagnon's, I got the new Berkeley Cull Shad for a certain someone for their trip to Oklahoma next year. So we'll
tricky.
We'll see if he's listening in, then he got the scoop. If he's not, too bad. So yeah, but great service from Gagnon's. Like it's basically $18 flat rate shipping, dude. That's cheaper than gas. Like,
yeah, you couldn't drive there and back.
No, I couldn't. Like even you would have to live within 30 minutes of that place to beat that, to save the gas money, to be honest, right?
When I went out of here Saturday morning to go up to Stonecliff below Mattawa there for the Christmas dinner, I drove past the gas station at the junction here. I got halfway up the hill and I thought, $1.31. And I turned around, came back down the hill.
Fill her up.
$40 worth of gas in, like as much as I could get in.
Fill her up. It's funny how it hit $1.32 last night. I did a U-turn as well. Like I was with Heather and the kids, right? $1.32.
Like I got back home with, I didn't have to. I was right on empty when I came back. It's just under, I think it's like 340 clicks each way.
Yeah.
I just had enough gas, and the gas across the street from my daughter's place was $1.54. So you made a couple of pennies. So paid for the coffees along the way.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But,
Plus, I had a
yeah.
great time with all the grandkids.
Nice.
They had all kinds of stuff. The noise, though.
Oh, whoa! Look out!
Oh my God. I was probably when I was coming back down. I was probably south of Pembroke before I stopped yelling at Tammy. My ears, the
Oh,
noise
wow.
settled down. I could actually hear myself talking.
That's
It was
wild.
funny. But it was
Lawrence,
awesome fun.
anything on your list that we didn't get to?
I guess the only other thing I might mention is, they've got the price of electric augers have come down, but we talked about that. And I saw some electric rechargeable socks at Costco for $20.
Yeah.
And that's a sweet deal. I'm going to try those. This
There
broke
are,
down the bottom.
definitely. Gentlemen, I know we wanted to keep it under an hour. We almost got there. On behalf of all of CFN, I can't thank you lads enough. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide if we want to do a New Year's show. But again, I would vote in favor. I'm either way. I'm torn either way in regards to time with the family. But Jim, I will be here with you and any of the other two that want to join us. But on behalf of CFN, Lawrence, Jay, Jim, I can't thank you lads enough for all you do for our community. Coming here every Monday, spending the time that you do, and just feeding us with a whole bunch of knowledge and coming prepared like you do to talk about topics that you know is going to be engaging to our community and our audience. Hats off to you.
Thank you to you for being our fearless leader.
Yeah, good company. It's good company.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny.
I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas to you and your family in all your travels. I know, Jim, you're going to be busy on Christmas Day, so we wish you well on all your travels. Lawrence, I'm sure you're going to be traveling to see family, and Jay, I'm sure you'll be on the move, and all of you will be on the move as well. So we bid you farewell for a week. We'll see you back here on New Year's Day for 2 weeks. We'll see you back here on New Year's Day. But again, lads, I can't thank you enough. You guys,
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart, guys.
Yeah.
Tesla, watch for the mailbox.
Right on, lads. You guys take care. Enjoy your Christmas. What an honor it is to spend some time with I can't say enough about it. We are so blessed. Stevie behind the scenes with all the links. I can't thank you enough, my friend. You keep us engaged, and you do all of our legacy members who just understand what it's like and what it means to be CFN. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, fans, as well. We wouldn't be able to do any of this without you. And of course, don't forget, there is still time to enter the Christina fundraiser. It's a $25 donation to that email. So just e-transfer $25. And it's a great last minute gift idea because there's some great prizes that we're going to be giving away on Boxing Day. I haven't got anything other than I can't say enough about all of you folks and what you mean to what we do here, the podcast, the community, our initiatives, our programs, our fundraisers, our retreats. There's a lot of moving parts. And without the Mike Consuls, the Mooses, and there's a host of others I'm sure that I'm going to remember. I can't or forget. And I want to remember them all because you all mean a heck of a lot to us. So on that note, I'm going to wish you all a great Christmas. I hope everyone has a healthy, magical, and family-filled time, holiday season. You deserve it all. You really do. And because we're all waiting for the hard water to harden up and tighten up for us to get a line wet, I'm with you. I'm sitting, and I can't wait to go fishing. So on that note, have yourselves a great Christmas. And we'll see you Boxing Day, if not New Year's Day. You guys take care. All the best. I love you. Take care. Peace.